Hey guys, Chase here, the trailer guys. Wanted to talk through this electric over hydraulic disc brake conversion that we've been doing through D-Max brakes, and kind of some of the reasons why it's a no-brainer to go ahead and swap over from your electric drum brakes to this setup, where you're going to get better maintenance, you're going to get cheaper maintenance in the long run, as well as that hydraulic stopping power that you're going to get there too. So right here, what I've got is a Romax trailer with an air ride that we actually installed. Here we've got the Dexter electric over hydraulic disc brake set up on here. So I kind of want to talk through maybe why we wouldn't necessarily be too keen on doing it on this setup, but then also where the instances are that we say, hey, it's a no-brainer. It's going to save you, actually make you money in the long run. So I'm going to flip the camera around. The clocking of the axle is done this way because the bleeder here now gets to go to the top. So on an electric brake axle, this axle will actually be clocked at the 12 o'clock position. This one is going to be more like at a 10 o'clock to allow that bleeder to be able to bleed properly on the Dexter caliper. Now if you put the D-Max up here, the axle needs to be clocked at the 12 o'clock in order for that bleeder to function properly. So you got a couple options. On your electric drum brake, that is going to be clocked at the 12 o'clock already, and so that is just going to slide right on. Right now on this one, if it's on the spring suspension, we feel comfortable cutting the axle, rotating it to the 12 o'clock, welding it back on, putting the brake set up, the D-Max setup on there, and you're good to go. Now on this air ride axle, this is where things start to get maybe a little bit more tricky. We just wouldn't feel comfortable and don't want to assume the liability of cutting that axle off, rotating it, welding it back on. At that point, your option becomes to install the D-Max setup on here, and just the way you bleed it is going to change. So at that point, you could pop out one of these bolts, you would rotate, leave this other bolt in, rotate the caliper up, block it up, and then you could bleed it that way. But to us, it's very important to make sure you have all the air out of the lines. We've seen issues because of people having air in the lines, and we just wouldn't want to take that risk unless it was necessary. So let's just say you've got this Dexter setup here. We don't really have a whole lot of issues out of the Dexter. So at that point, it doesn't make sense for us to recommend saying, hey, let's put this D-Max brake on when you have a fully functioning brake set up as it is. Now, if you have a Kodiak brake, so this is going to be for like a lot of the Diamond C guys. There were several issues with Kodiak. We won't get into all that, but if you have a Kodiak brake setup and you want to get away from that, we could replace that with a D-Max on the electric over hydraulic setup, and then you just have to be very careful about how you bleed it. If you bring it back to us, we have confidence in our guys to be able to make sure it's done properly, to get all the air out of the lines. What concerns us is maybe some other shops that may not have that knowledge, and in doing so could cause issues in your brakes in the long run. So if you wanted to do something like that, like I said, we could do that. We just would want to make sure to reiterate to you, to reiterate to any shop that might do this, or if you do it yourself, that you have to make sure the air gets out of the lines. In order to do that, you have to bleed the brakes in a little bit different fashion than just leaving everything intact and then bleeding brakes. So anyway, all that being said, if you're looking to either change over from your current electric drum brake setup to an electric over hydraulic disc brake setup, give us a call. We have 3 locations in Texas that can do this, and we think that the disc brake setup is just going to be cheaper maintenance, it's going to be easier maintenance, and you're going to have that better stopping power for the electric over hydraulic to get that hydraulic brake. If you have an old Kodiak setup from like the Diamond C, when they initially started going over to like the 16K axle and all that, if you have that, these D-Max do go up to 16,000 pound axles. So if you're having issues with the Kodiaks, give us a call. we'll talk through just kind of some options just to make sure maybe that aren't covered all the way in this video. If you have any questions or anything like that. However, if you have a Dexter disc brake setup, there's no reason, in our opinion, to change it. Might as well just keep what you got, keep rolling. You know, if you're having consistent issues, let's talk through that. There may be something else that's underlying there, but you know, for us, we're going to recommend anytime you have electric drum brakes and you have to come in and replace the brakes, replace the drum, all that, it gets very expensive. At that point, it's not that much more to go ahead and convert to the electric over hydraulic disc brake setup, which is going to get you a toolbox, 4-foot toolbox to be able to put on the side. We're going to mount it back by the axle, so you're not going to have as much of a delay. Say if that electric over hydraulic actuator was up in the neck. It's also going to get you the Hydra Pro actuator. We've been using them for a while already. It's going to get you all the hydraulic lines. It's going to get you everything included. I'm talking about $6,300. Now, some of that may fluctuate depending on the axle, depending on what you got, your setup, but about $6,300 with tax. Like I said, if you've got an existing electric over hydraulic disc brake setup, it's going to be less because you're already going to have all that stuff there. You're just changing out the Kodiaks. I don't know what that cost would be at this point. We have not done that yet, but that being said, it's a great option, especially if you've been stuck with electric drum brakes or if you've been stuck with the Kodiak disc brakes and you're just not happy with that setup. This D-Max conversion is a great option for you guys out there on the road. And of course, we will be here to answer any questions that you might have going forward. So give us a call. Like I said, we have 3 locations in Texas. You can visit us on our website at thetrailerguys.com. Pick your closest location there, and then you know, get you set up with an appointment, get you in here, get it done. Anyway, give us a shout, come by, see us, and you know, we'll get you taken care of.